welcome to Jacqueline's Kitchen. It's so good to be back with you. I was a little under the weather, so there was a little delay in videos, but I am back and I'm so ready to get cooking with you guys today. I have a really fun recipe to share with you. It's a delicious recipe and it's a go-to. Everyone loves macaroni and cheese. What makes my macaroni and cheese different is there are some vegetables hidden in there, and it's okay. The kids won't know, people who don't like vegetables won't know. All they're gonna taste is that delicious cheesy macaroni that everybody loves, and it's gonna be full of seasonings also. So we're gonna get started on that. Hi guys, we're getting started on that macaroni and cheese, and what I'm starting with here is just some real nice grass-fed butter. It's about 2 tablespoons of butter that we're gonna begin with. And what I'm doing is making a basic white sauce. So I have the butter in the pan, all melted, and I'm gonna go in with equal amounts, 2 tablespoons of flour. And what we're doing is we're making a roux, which is just a French word to describe a thickening agent. Here's where people go wrong with this little step sometimes. They rush it. They do not brown the butter and the flour together, and then the sauce comes off a little bit floury tasting. So you want to give this just a moment or two to meld. You'll see that toasty brown color come up, and then we're going to add in 2 cups of milk. All right, so we're going to add that in, and we're going to bring the temperature up because we want to bring this up to a boil. It will not thicken until we bring it up to a boil. So this is where I'm gonna switch out my spatula to a whisk because I really wanna break up that roux and get it going in the sauce. So there's a couple different ways to make a cheese sauce. I find this to be the easiest, and this is considered a bechamel or basic white sauce. This is a pretty bland sauce all on its own, so it requires seasoning, okay? And we can go ahead and add those seasonings in now where we're waiting for this to come up to boil. So let me share with you what I have on this plate right here. I have a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, which I think gives this macaroni and cheese a really unique flavor, and a half a teaspoon of dried mustard. And that's just a really nice flavor for that white sauce. But we're forgetting one thing, and that is my black pepper. So we're gonna crack some black pepper in there. Always gotta have pepper. And then I'm gonna give this a good whisk again. Now, many people make macaroni and cheese and just do the white sauce, black pepper, a little salt, and they move on from there. I think really adding the onion powder, the garlic powder, and the paprika and the dried mustard just add a depth of flavor to the macaroni and cheese. So I'm gonna whisk that in. I can tell it's already getting thicker. It's starting to coat the back of the spoon or the whisk, so to speak. Just breaking up those seasonings. And once we get it slightly thick, that's when we are going to add the cheese. Now listen, you cannot have macaroni and cheese without a good amount of cheese. So we're gonna add that in just a minute, but I wanna talk to you about the vegetable that we're adding. This is a cauliflower puree. Now, cauliflower has a very neutral taste in this cheese sauce because there's such an abundance of cheese and other flavors in here. It's going to come off very neutral. So whether your friends like cauliflower or not, it's going to edify this recipe with some good, healthy nutrition. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my cauliflower puree at this point. I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups of that puree, and I'm gonna go ahead and stir that in. You're gonna see how thick this sauce is getting. We haven't even added any cheese yet. So isn't it interesting that it's already starting to look like a cheese sauce without any cheese? So I'm gonna blend that in. I'm gonna turn the temp down to a low simmer, and I'm gonna start adding in the cheese. I'm gonna reserve some cheese for the top, and I'll talk to you about the cheese. So I have a sharp cheddar. I think the best macaroni and cheese is made with a variety of cheeses. I have Jack cheese in here, and I have mozzarella. Sharp cheddar, Jack, and mozzarella. That mozzarella is gonna give it a really nice sort of stringy texture. So I'm gonna save probably 1/2 cup for the top. Some people do breadcrumbs on the top, but I like to just go in with a little cheese on top. So you're seeing you're gonna get plenty of cheese in this recipe.
So we have cauliflower
Cauliflower, yeah.
in there.
Do you like cauliflower?
I do, it's nice.
Oh, good. I've done this with butternut squash as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, it gives it an even stronger orange flavor. But this week I'm doing it with just cauliflower. And you can do a little bit of both if you want to. We're just gonna let those cheeses melt down a little bit. And then I'm going to bring over the macaroni and put the macaroni in there. All right, so we're ready to add the pasta. I chose a spiral pasta for my macaroni and cheese. I like to do something a little different than the elbow macaroni, and I thought this spiral pasta would be fun. It's just boiled a little al dente, which means to the tooth. There's some bite to it, and that's because it's going to have this cheese sauce and it's going to bake it in the oven. And if you overcook the pasta, then it might come out a little mushy. And we don't want that, right? Who wants mushy pasta? Not so good. So I'm just gonna fold that cheese sauce into that spiral pasta. This is so easy. This comes together really, really fast. And you know, I have yet to meet a person who does not like macaroni and cheese. And I'm telling you, I can smell this already. It smells so good. I can really smell the garlic in there, and I think that makes all the difference.
Certainly does.
Garlic and onions. All right, so we have our casserole dish. It's already been pre-sprayed with a non-stick coating because we don't want the macaroni and cheese to stick. And then this is where we can either hoist this whole thing into the casserole, or we can be a little delicate about it. So I'm gonna be a little delicate about it because who knows what can happen in this situation. So I'm just gonna come in with a big spoon and I'm just gonna spoon it into my casserole. Also making sure, because I'm just gonna say this from experience, sometimes I've gone with the big pour in. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this. And guess what?
On the floor.
There's more filling than there is casserole. And so all of a sudden you've then created another mess for yourself by slot. This might be just the right amount. I was trying to eyeball the dish.
Trial and error.
Right. I was trying to eyeball the dish. We'll see how well this fits in. I'm gonna smooth it. This may be just right. But again, remember on a casserole, you guys, you don't want to overfill the dish. Not that this is going to expand that much, but the last thing you want is for it to cook over in the oven. That's another little mess. So that's about where I'm going to stop with that. So I guess somebody will eat those leftovers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put this aside and show you how we're going to top it. Some people do buttered breadcrumbs. I'm really going to keep this simple this week and just use that remainder, that half cup of cheese, and just do a nice sprinkle of cheese over the top. How does that look?
Looks great. I wouldn't even think there was vegetables in there.
Right? No one will ever know.
Right.
I'm telling you. I have made this macaroni and cheese and I have brought it to different occasions, some family gatherings. No one was the wiser. And
So moms that can't get their kids to eat vegetables?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up. This is a great way to hide vegetables in your kids' food and get a little extra nutrition in there. And then I'm going to top this with the casserole with the foil. This is that great non-stick foil, so I don't need to butter it. And I'm going to place it in a preheated 375-degree oven.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it in there for about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to take that foil off and I'm going to go about another 15 minutes. You want it just really heated through. And you want the topping, the cheese, just really melted in, maybe a little toasty on top. And then we're gonna give it a try.
Can't wait to try it.
Yum.
All right.
Okay, let's give that macaroni and cheese a check and see if it's done. Oh, look, it's all bubbling. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Let me go ahead and slide that out so we can take a closer look. It smells wonderful. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, the aroma. Okay, so normally I would let this set for a good 30 minutes before I serve it. But just so you guys can see what it looks like, I'm gonna go ahead and do a serving in my bowl right now. And you're gonna see the difference that mozzarella makes. It just has that nice stringiness to it. And listen, this could be a vegetarian meal, but I would serve it with a nice steamed broccoli or a really healthy salad just to balance it out a little bit. Woo! Look at the steam on that.
Very nice.
Can't wait to try this.
But, you know, for kids who don't usually like vegetables, this is a alternative, right? This is the way to go.
None the wiser. We don't need to let them know that there are vegetables in there.
Right.
You can't even tell there's anything in there.
So you can't have broccoli with this for kids. What can they have? Like, what could they have?
The butternut squash would be a nice alternative because it has that orange color just like cheese does. I mean, so I would either pick cauliflower or butternut squash. Some vegetables just have so much flavor, it's going to be hard to mask them.
Right.
But I think the cauliflower puree or a butternut squash puree are the two best things. You can even buy frozen cauliflower or butternut squash. You don't have to do this all on your own.
Right.
Just cook it in the microwave, throw it into your blender or your food processor, and you're ready to go. About 1.5 cups of any kind of vegetable that you want. But I would highly suggest cauliflower or butternut squash.
Okay, great. I can't wait to try it. I
Yeah.
see if I could taste the cauliflower.
Plus, it looks like such an indulgence, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Very nice.